So I came to Dubai in 2004. So that's about almost 20 years now. And I came here with a salary offer of 2,200. That was my first job here in Dubai. And as I look back on my journey, I want to share with you today tips on how you can really save money here in Dubai. And you can use that money to invest in your own property or open up a business. Or maybe as a Filipino, you can also bring that money, bring it home, and open your business back in the Philippines. I hope you will enjoy this episode as I share with you my financial journey and how I saved money here in Dubai and was able to buy a property and open a business. Back in 2004, I was offered a salary of 2,200 as my first job here in Dubai. I was in the Philippines back then. I was working in a furniture company. It was like a kitchen company that we offer office furniture and also kitchen cabinets and all that. When I saw this ad on the newspaper, my mom was the one pushing me to explore our options abroad. I grew up in an OFW family. My father worked many years in Saudi. So my mom had a mentality that there's more opportunity abroad. So she encouraged me a lot, almost every time, to find an opportunity abroad. So I was looking at the newspapers every week, looking at an opportunity, and I found this ad on the newspaper for a job in Dubai. I was an interior design graduate from the University of the Philippines, and I thought that this is going to be a good break for me because it is related to my job. Although I had 3 jobs in the Philippines before I went abroad, although they were all into furniture, they all involved selling. And that's something I'm not good at. If you watch my previous video on how to sell, I really like to improve myself on how to sell. Even after so many years, that skill I am still working on. So I saw this ad in the newspaper looking for a visual merchandiser for a furniture company. I applied through an agency. The agency in the Philippines actually took a bit of time. There were a lot of us who were hired, but it took more than 6 months for me to finally fly to Dubai. I actually almost gave up and started looking for a job because after 6 months of having no job and waiting for that flight, I was just sitting at home and my parents were like, "You're not earning anything." I was really excited and happy when I finally got my airplane ticket. Let's rewind a little bit. I want to also thank my manager during that time, Sir Len. I was really considering, should I maybe stay in the Philippines because all of my friends are in the Philippines? And maybe I can find a better job. Maybe I can earn more. By the time that I got the offer letter, I was already earning about 13,000 pesos. That is 1,000 dirhams a month. And then after the taxes are deducted, I'm left with 9,000, a little bit more than 9,000 pesos. So imagine how hard it was living in the Philippines. And asked Sir Lan, I said, "Sir Lan, I don't know if I should go abroad or should I stay here in the Philippines where my friends are, my family is." Sir Lan said, "If you're thinking of your career and your future while you're still young, go abroad. Go and experience the life abroad and experience a life of independence." So he said that when he was younger, he regretted missing the opportunity to go abroad. He was the area manager when he was younger, he said. And he had car benefits, insurance benefits, a good salary. He was the team leader of a team and he was managing some people. And he said, this is a good job for me. So he missed the opportunity to go abroad. And while all his subordinates, like his colleagues that were reporting to him, they all grabbed the opportunity to go abroad. So after many years, he said, now I'm still here. He was about 50 that time. He said, I'm still here. I'm still a team leader. I'm still managing people. Yet my subordinates before who were reporting to me, they're all now settled in Germany, in Canada. Some have opened their businesses. I know different people have different paths to take. And we all have different futures. We don't know what's in store for us. But he said, if you have the opportunity, grab it. So that convinced me as well to apply for the job. Even though it's a very low salary, 2,200, I said, I'll grab this and I think this is a break for me. So fast forward to 2004, I was a bit shocked because when I came to Dubai, the first living condition that I had was in a small sharing room. Even though we're not rich in the Philippines, I still have a very decent room. I have decent space. I live in our house. But this one was so tiny, I could not fit a closet in. I came to Dubai and They put me in a villa, sharing with a lot of many other people. It's a partition. And then I had to put all my clothes in my luggage. So every time I had to take out clothes, I have to take out the luggage under my bed because there's not even a room for a closet. The company actually paid 2 months in advance, so I don't even have money to even shift and find my own room. So that's how I came to Dubai, and it was a bit of a shock and a traumatic experience. Not traumatic. I don't call it traumatic, but it helped me to become resilient, and it opened my eyes to this is what most people experience in Dubai. Not most people, but there are people who experience worse things in Dubai. So I said, what I'll do, I'll work hard and I'll find a better place and I'll get out of this partition. And one time in July, the AC broke, and then we had to sleep with the doors open because there's no windows. And then while in the middle of the night, a big cockroach flew to my face, and I'm like, had to scream on top of my lungs, and I had to really throw away that cockroach, and I cried. That's the time I cried, and I'm like, what am I doing here? So it was one of my saddest points, but it was actually these kinds of experience, this for me have developed for me resilience. I said, if I endure that, I feel like I can endure anything. I have to actually pay back the agency that processed everything, because before I left to Dubai, we had to pay the agency a month salary. So before I left Dubai, I had a loan. We had a loan to pay the agency and for me to just come to Dubai. So that's a bit of a background of how I started in Dubai and how I saved money. I'm giving now the tips that helped me save money for me to afford the life that we have right now. I know it's not really luxurious. We're not rich, but we're able to live in a 3-bedroom apartment. Me and my family, we have a business, we have 2 cars, and kids are going to school, but not in an expensive school. They're homeschooled. But let's say we're living a comfortable life now compared to the life that I had inside the partition, or compared to the life I had back in the Philippines. So my first tip to save money in Dubai is always to keep track of your expenses. I always keep track of my expenses. I used to write them down in a notebook, but I now use an app to help me track my expenses every day. So what I do, I have a certain budget allocated for food, for transportation, for phones, and for the groceries. I first deduct the fixed expenses, like the electricity bills, insurance that we pay, savings, of course, and the things that we need to pay monthly, like we have a mortgage and we have a personal loan. So that's one thing that we do. And then whatever is left is for our daily expenses, like food and eating out, entertainment, and all this. We try to keep track of those things, and we try not to spend too much and not beyond that. So that's why we make sure that we only eat outside at least once a week. We try to save on groceries. We can save on groceries if we carefully plan the meals that we are eating, not eating out all the time or not paying for takeaway. So those are the things that help us save money. So tip number 1 is for you to keep track of your expenses and to keep an allocated budget for variable expenses like food, groceries, and other things like clothing. So we try to save money on those things. This is a habit that I have whenever we go to groceries, compare prices, and then we stick to that brand. Try to compare prices. So wherever we can save money, we'll try to save money on that. Number 2 for us is normalizing buying unbranded or cheap stuff. I say cheap. We still like to buy quality stuff, but we make sure not to buy stuff that can easily be replaced. And then we try to think of things as investments. So for example, clothing for us is not something that we try to splurge on. We have a clothing budget for the year. This is an expense that we don't usually spend a lot on. And those of you who know me, you know that I go to flea markets, which I inherited from my mom, who is an avid flea market shopper. So I buy a lot of stuff from the flea market, and this blouse that I'm wearing today is something that I bought for 10 dirhams at a flea market, and it's very nice. It's not cheap, and it's actually from a good brand. It's just that it's hand-me-down, secondhand. Someone used it before, and I don't mind that. I feel that people should not be glorifying too much when you're like, oh, look at that, you have branded this, you are wearing that. Like, instead of saying, wow, you afforded this, you bought this, why don't we say, wow, you've been wearing that for 5 years now? To be honest, I have a shirt that I've been wearing since I was in college. That's how I like to care for my stuff, and I just threw away shoes that I've been wearing daily for walking, and I finally threw it away after 5 years. You can buy stuff for yourself as a reward. I don't want to say that buying pleasures or luxury stuff for yourself is bad. Maybe that will make you happy, that will bring you pleasure. But I feel also that we should normalize being sustainable and buying inexpensive. I don't want to say cheap because cheap has this connotation of bad quality. Inexpensive but quality stuff. It should be the goal for most of us, especially if you want to save money and if you want to be conscious on your expenses, then buying inexpensive but quality stuff should be the way to go. So tip number 1 is to track your expenses. Number 2 is to save on money by buying inexpensive but quality stuff. And number 3 is for you to choose your friends wisely. So Dubai is a very expensive city, they said. But I feel that it is an expensive city. It depends on who you hang out with, especially if you're trying to keep up with the Jonases or the Kardashians. Dubai can choke you, and as you try to keep up with the people you hang out with, they eat outside a lot. They go to these hotels. They go and have these privileges. And they buy expensive stuff. They drive these expensive cars. So if you try to keep up with them because you want to continue to hang out with them, then that's a trap you're falling for. And that will cause you to spend more money, and that will cause you not to save money, and you'll be in debt. Try to use your credit card, swipe here, swipe there, because you want to have brunch with your girlfriends, you want to go to the spa with your girlfriends, or you want to play golf with your buddies, or because there's this night out and then you want to be part of that. Check your lifestyle, check how much money you'll be earning, and then check the friends who you want to hang out with. Maybe you really want to hang out with people who are at upper level. No one should stop you from hanging out with, but then you should control your spending, and how you make decisions with your money is very important. My other tip for you in Dubai is to look at all the saving apps that you can find and try to download them. We have The Entertainer. We always subscribe to it. By the way, this is not sponsored by The Entertainer nor Zomato Gold. So we try to look out for all these apps that will help us save money, and then coupon codes and offers. So one thing that have helped me as well to save money, especially on Christmas, to have an annual gift list or an annual spending list. So I have this Christmas list that I have going on. Like, I have this list. I know hi to my friends there that I've been giving Christmas gifts, but I have your list and I've been thinking about you for the whole year. And whenever I get the opportunity that there's a sale or there's a chance for me to purchase a gift that I feel that will be good for you, I try to purchase them in advance while they're on sale. I know there's a lot of sale traps in Dubai. There's Dubai Shopping Festival. There's a lot of shopping festivals here in Dubai. And if you're not really careful, if just because there's a sale and you're going to go shopping without an intention to use those things for, then you're again in a money trap. So these are the things that you should be careful of. Buy gifts for my friends who's going to have a birthday in a couple of months. If you have that shopping list, you don't just go to a sale event without any intention, but you go to the sale event because you have those shopping list. You then save money instead of buying an impulse. Planning is very important, and having a shopping list is a good way for you to save money. My last tip is for you to have your annual spending goals or annual budget. So every year we sit as a family. I sit most of the time and I just tell my family this is the budget that we have for the year, and so we have emergency funds to make sure we have some money for emergency, and we list down the projections of the expenses based on the previous year and try to cut down on some of the expenses that we thought were not needed. If you're like me, I like to write down the budget for the next month or every month for that matter, and you will spend only according to that budget. So we have this interest budget, which is for pleasure stuff. This is a very limited budget. We have a budget for travel. We try not to exceed that budget and to make sure that we still enjoy. So it's important for you to enjoy life, and it's important for you to experience the pleasures, especially if you're working hard for your money. But it's important for you to also save for your future and save for emergency purposes. As a Christian, it's important for you to live a life that is like Christ. You don't spend too much, you don't show off. What is important is for you to share the blessings and for you to live a life that will inspire people, that will show the glory of God in your life, and that you're living in a purpose. You exemplify a life that displays God's glory in you and that you glorify God because all these blessings come from Him. And it's important for you to glorify Him with every gift that He has given you. I hope this episode has helped you a lot, and I hope my story has also inspired you. And if you think these tips are useful, please hit the like button and do subscribe. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one.